Hi, welcome to a slideshow of some of my black and white pictures. This picture's at the Recreation Center in Foster City, California. I liked the way the sun was hitting the building and the tones that it showed there. And I like the texture of the grass and plants in the lower part of the picture, contrasting with the very subtle texture of the clouds up in the sky. I think the tonal range is pretty nice on this picture. This is also in Foster City. Technically, this isn't really a black and white picture because I did give it a little bit of a tint. I like the symmetry of the building there as well as its tones, and also the reflection of it in the water. The water looks kind of like rippled black glass, and it gives the reflection, I think, a nice texture. And again, in this picture, there's some texture up in the sky with the clouds. This is the western span of the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge, and I liked the way the sun was hitting the sides of the towers there and kind of outlining them, as well as the rest of the structure of the bridge. This is the south tower of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I like the way it stands out along with the cables against the flat sky. The sky is not trying to compete with the structure of the bridge. This is near the Port Orleans Resort at Disney in Florida. And I like the symmetry of the bridge and the way it's kind of almost silhouetted against the background there. And again, we have a nice smooth sky in the upper part of the picture and texture of the water in the lower part of the picture. And I also like the way the symmetry of the bridge contrasts with the asymmetry of the plants and of the waterway. This is at the Swan and Dolphin Resort there at Disney. And of course, this isn't strictly a black and white picture because I did give it a split tone. But I like the tones that building has, and I also like the way the reflection is in the water. This is at the Caribbean Beach Resort, and I did make this a little bit moodier than it really looked in real life. I mean, it was kind of a moody scene with the lighting the way it was. The building is fairly bright, and also the beach and the chairs over there in the right part of the picture, while the rest of the setting is a darker, moodier gray. This is part of the train station at Main Street in the Magic Kingdom. And I like the ironwork, the patterns that it has, and some of the shadows. And I think even though the patterns are very different, that they play off each other very nicely. This is at the Animal Kingdom there at Disney. And there were several musicians there performing, and this is just one of them. And I like this particular shot because of the surroundings that are there, and also he has his hands in the air there as he's performing with the other musicians. This is at the Fantasy of Flight, which is not too far from Orlando. It's mostly a collection of aircraft, but they do have some cars there. And I like the Art Deco aspect of the building there and the tones that it has along with the car. This is at Downtown Disney in Anaheim. And I really like the tones that were in this scene, and also the pattern that the chairs make throughout the lower part of the picture. And then, of course, there is an additional pattern in the upper part of the picture from that structure that's above the bar. This is at Hollywood and Vine at Disney Studios in Florida. And this was right when they were closing. And I like the patterns as well as the leading lines in this picture. There's the subtle pattern of the umbrellas in the upper left, and right across in the upper right we have the very obvious pattern of the lights. And in the lower half of the picture, on the left, we have the pattern of the tables and chairs, but on the right there is the pattern of just the tables. And I like the way there's so many leading lines that go almost to the center of the picture. This is in Las Vegas, and even though it's kind of a busy photograph, I do like it because there's such a wide range of tones because it is nighttime, but yet there's so many lights around that area that there is a lot of brightness as well. I like this picture for two reasons. One is because I think the lighting, which was coming in from windows off to the right, was, I think, very, very nice. And also there's the contrast of the empty chair on the left and the occupied chair on the right. This is, again, in Foster City. And I did make the picture a bit moodier than it really was in real life. But I like the clouds and the water in the upper and lower parts of the picture, and then there's sort of a band of light across the middle where the houses are. Well, that winds it up for this particular slideshow. I hope you enjoyed watching it.